Hello, this is Globanitter. My name is Caroline and today I am at home in Mexico and I want to talk to you about why I love knitting so much, why I knit almost every day and what it does to my mental health and well-being. For me, knitting has always been about connections. My grandmother is the one who taught me how to knit and my mom is the one who taught me how to crochet. Knitting is a thread that holds us together across generations. And today I am wearing the last sweater my grandmother knitted me, and this was 30 years ago. And I just love wearing it to this day. It reminds me of her. And it's such a beautiful legacy to leave to your children, grandchildren, people you love. It's thanks to knitting that I met my friends in Mexico. When I moved to Mexico, I barely knew the culture, the language, and then the pandemic arrived and I realized I didn't have any friends. So I started looking online for knitting groups I could join. And finally, it took me many years, but I found my group of people, my friends, and I have my own friends in Mexico that I met thanks to knitting. So knitting is not only a personal practice, it's also a bridge between people, culture, and generations. I had to get change. The grandmother sweater was still too hot for this time of year in Mexico. Knitting has also been essential to my mental health and well-being. Growing up as an only child, I had to learn how to keep myself occupied, and knitting became my companion. I used to knit little clothes for my dolls, like this. And without realizing it, I started building a lifelong skill, which is enjoying being alone and enjoying my own company. With so many distractions in our lives today, knitting has also helped me to keep my focus and concentration. When you knit a difficult pattern, you train yourself to stay focused and attentive. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, you end up having to forget what you've just done, maybe. And knitting has been the constant thread through many life challenges, like changing job, moving countries, the pandemic. Knitting has been a grounding practice similar to meditation, soothing my mind one stitch at a time. There's also something fascinating that knitting does to the brain. I was talking to a lady yesterday who had a stroke a few years ago, and she does pottery. And she was explaining to me that it's very important to do manual craft with two hands, because that way you make both hemispheres of the brain work together. So knitting is also helping with our brain. Knitting is also allowing me to be creative. You don't have to be a pattern designer to be creative. Just following a pattern, choosing the yarn, making modification to make the pattern fit your own body is something that turns a project into a unique object or a unique design. Every project is unique, and every item I've made reminds me of the place where I bought the yarn, where I was when I knitted the garment, and also what was happening in my life. For example, this sweater, I bought the yarn in Chicago. I started knitting it at the end of 2019, so we all know what happened at that time. And I remember knitting it by the pool at our friend's house during the first confinement. And finally, the reason I love knitting so much is because it's portable. I can take it everywhere with me. I love knitting at home, in hotel rooms, when I'm commuting. You know, I have a long commute. I have a lot of time to knit. Day before yesterday, I was knitting in the Apple store while I waited for my mobile to be fixed, maybe. It had to be replaced, but that's another story. Yesterday, I was knitting while my cat was having surgery for a tooth. It's one of the few creative hobbies that you can take anywhere with you. And in fact, I've also knitted while diving. Well, it was just a photo op, but anyway. It's one of the few creative hobbies that you can take anywhere with you, put in a small bag, carry along with you. And for me, being constantly on the move in different countries, it's priceless. That's why I love knitting so much. It connects me to the people I love. It supports my mental health and well-being. It gives me a way to create beauty, and it goes everywhere with me. It's not just a hobby, it's a part of who I am. So I hope I am encouraging you to start knitting, pick up your needles today to improve your life. I would love to hear how knitting has helped you in your life. in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Next week, I will be in San Francisco again, and after that, I have a layover in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to see you next week. Have a fantastic week. Bye bye. Bisous, bisous.